Yeah, boy. Jake, you missed the memo, mate. We didn't give you your cracky your tin. But hello,
Yeah,
tackles and tinnies listeners. Welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Files. Again, this is our pure SuperCoach forum. I'm lucky to have Jakey here and Chris, our regular SuperCoaches here. Boys, how are we? Chris, starting with you, mate.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Crazy teamless Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Otherwise good.
That's good, man. Jakey.
yeah, mate. I'm well. Yeah, been very busy with work, but that, mate, kicking on and yeah, doing good.
Now, Jake, the real question is the spud farming. Are you going to be a part of the spud squad tonight? That is the
Yeah,
question the viewers want to
I
hear.
reckon, I reckon you're lucky to get 15 minutes out of me tops. I reckon tonight. So yeah, early morning. There it is. So there's T's and C's of me joining at the moment. So
It's certainly worth the risk in my eyes, so I'm willing to take the punt. I'm sure Chris is as well. Boys, I was meant to go get a crown. I have a crown underneath my desk over here, and I was going to put it on because I'm the King of Super Coach this week. I actually brained it. I am King Kulamatangi. You name it. Who's your pappy? Is the name of my team. Who's your pappy? I'm your daddy, baby. I'm your daddy. I actually killed it this week. Hey, nailed my captaincy. I did the wheel spin in our group chat. Andrew's typical wheel spin. I had the wheel spin for Brimo, which was obviously relative success. The other two boys was Tamale and Shibasaki for the last position of my team. And guess what? Shibasaki came up. He popped off. He got like 80 plus, and Tamale got 3 points. So those two are awesome. Obviously, captaincy situation this week could have gone Cleary, could have gone May, but yeah, I ended up going big pod move at the very end there, like 10 minutes to go. I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do Keon Matangi," and he popped off. So I actually managed to score 1477. But the worst news overall, boys, my team value is below 16 million now. But hey, we are 2,898 overall in Australia. So we're climbing the ladder. The team's looking solid. Yeah, I'm back. Who's your pappy, baby? Jake, how's your team going this week?
yeah, mate. Full credit to you. You did very well, mate. You put it in the chat there a little bit, saying that you're going to jump on Keon, and yeah, very well done. Over 100 points there, nearly 120, mate. So great move, well deserved. I had not a terrible week. I got over 1,300, so usually most of the time over 1,300 isn't a terrible week. One out of my two head to head, but yeah, fell down about 200 odd spots overall. So yeah, disappointing to see some red arrows, but that's part of it. I was on Terrell May as my captaincy, and then last minute changed to Cleary with 5 minutes before kickoff, and that wasn't the right move. So I should have just stuck with the original decision.
Yep.
But all in all, yeah, over 1,300, not complaining too much. So, but yeah, not a super week.
Yep. And what's your value at currently, Jakey? You're the man to beat, I believe.
I'm at 16.7 mil at the moment, but I have made 2 trades at the moment this week. So I
Yep.
don't know if it changed anything a bit, but yeah, not too bad. Still a little bit.
Yeah. Chris, how you going, mate?
Yeah, it was a pretty good week for me this week. I scored 1425. Not as good as you, Ryan. I captained Cleary, which was a little bit disappointing. But I saw green arrows. I went up about 400 spots, and I'm about ranking around 1100
Yep.
at the moment. So I'm really pleased. It's nice not to get a red arrow for a change. Like you, my team values dropped like precipitously this week. I went from like 16.2 to like 15.8. I have no idea how Jay kept his team value going. Yeah, but I traded this week. My 2 trades were Connor Tracy to Jaden Campbell. His 27 dropped out for me, and then I nuffed out Corey Horsbrough for Miles Martin. Yeah, but I'm not too stressed about JC. You know, he's a number for round 15 this week, and he's a season keeper.
Yeah.
I said on the pod last week that I'd probably buy Hervey. Do I regret not buying him a little bit? But overall, I'm really happy. Yeah, and also Jerome Hughes scored 130-ish. So yeah.
Yeah, he's in my draft team too. Jerome Hughes, he was absolutely popping off, and Randall, who made that guest appearance when the Manly saga was happening, he's always chirping in the group chat saying, "I've got the best draft team." Well, guess what, mate? To be the best, you got to beat the best. And King Firehawk over here was the winner last year. So, yeah, I popped off and I got like 717, and you got like 450. So, Randall, I know you're listening. Take that, son. Yeah. So, boys, I think before we get into SuperCoach this week, obviously we're looking at Origin coming. Jakey, fellow Queenslander, my friend, I got the Maroons jumper on tonight. What are your thoughts on the team, mate?
Look, I've actually grown on it over the past like 24 hours. Especially starting to see a few numbers getting put each player, I guess. Look, for me, I was definitely disappointed with Cherry getting dropped personally. I actually, in the end, liked seeing Did in that 14 jersey coming off the bench. Mate, I'm all over the shop, just like Billy, I think, a little bit. I didn't like it for game one and then saw how game one kind of panned out. I know Queensland didn't look too sharp, but when Did and jumped on the field for that back end of the game, he did look sharp and did look good. I think we're going to miss DCE's leadership in his kicking game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you start him with game one, I feel like, yeah, give a champion of the game, and the Queenslander kind of like that opportunity to send it off. If he loses game two, then yeah, kind of like bringing that opportunity, that fresh blood for game three. So that's kind of my thoughts on that 7 jersey. But yeah, hearing this afternoon, Paddy's now 17. So yeah, Billy must have been listening to Tackles and Tinnies, mate. Listen to Ryan, mate. Jumped on that start for Trent Liero at 13. So yeah, listen in. So after I did see that, so nearly. But even, yeah, bringing Cape Well, dropping Fermor, you only gave the bloke 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, you'd think Fermor gets his opportunity to start just like Cape Well is this time. So definitely a lot to look at, definitely a few changes. But yeah, hopefully we can bring it for game two.
Yeah. So I think the real questions to ask is, Chris, I'll ask you why Jake's potentially went full potato mode. But Chris, what are your thoughts on leaving Corey Horsburgh out?
Oh, look, I honestly, I'm perplexed by a few of the decisions that Billy's made. I think that you definitely need Horsburgh. You need that dog, really. That's what I think. Honestly, I'm perplexed. Admittedly, I see what he's doing. Like, if you do nothing and you lose, you get absolutely slammed by the meter for doing absolutely nothing. And then if you make heaps of changes and you do win, then you look like a genius. But if you make changes and you lose, then you're going to still get slammed anyway. So you may as well make changes, is what I honestly think. Yeah.
And Kurt Mann to the utility position for Queensland. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I like it. You you saw what he did. Literally, just was it yesterday? That try. He just breaks lines open. I think he's a lot better utility. I think and than Tommy Dearden is what I think. I can definitely get behind Tommy Dearden as well, being at 7. I think he's leading try assister this year. In the NRL, at least on Saturday or Friday when he was playing at the time. But like he can slot in at 9. He can slot in anywhere in the back row. He's he's one of the. I have no disagreements with that. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Spud's back. Good to see you, Jake. So, Jakey, I asked the same question to Chris about Kurt Mann being the utility for Queensland. What are your thoughts?
I like it. I think he was the right man to be picked for 18th man for game one. And yeah, if Billy's made that decision to chuck Dearden in at 7, yeah, I'm all for Kurt Mann jumping into that 14 role. He's, for Queensland at least, he's going to be one of the better players we can find with who can provide a bit of utility, like that decent utility role. So all for it. Can play 6, can play 9, can play 13. So yeah, ready for it.
Now, before we talk about the one change for New South Wales, Chris, thoughts on Corey Horsburgh not making the starting 17.
Yeah, no, I'm disappointed for him. Like, you need that dog, and he provides that. You just know he's crazy. He's kind of that Spencer Lenu kind of character. Yeah, I think he should have made it. Really, yeah.
Jakey, thoughts on Horsburgh missing out?
Yeah, you could definitely put him in the team, but once again, I've actually got no huge issue with it. Going off Chris's point, I guess going with that bit of craziness, he could be the perfect man to sub on when Spencer Lanu gets on that field as well. So, yeah, that would be a great clash to see, really. But yeah, if he's not there and I look at the rest of the lineup, yeah, I'm actually okay with him missing out, to be honest.
I'm quite the opposite. I think there's nothing against Liera, and again, Billy Slater's obviously listening to tackles and tinnies, but yeah, Liera has to start, and Billy Slater made that decision. Fantastic, I can live with that. Paddy Carrigan off the bench, don't like that, but I think Paddy Carrigan and Trent Liera, correct me if I'm wrong, boys, if you've got a different opinion here, but I think they're quite duplicative in a lot of ways. They do a lot of the same thing. Very similar archetype, where Paddy's are slightly bigger, but in terms of their role for both of their teams, they're that link man for their club. Tackle bot, yeah, willing to do some hard hit ups, good tackle efficiency. That's literally what they do. Corey Horsburgh provides that pod or that point of difference for the team. He is that Spencer Lenu for Queensland. And I think a bit of variety off the bench and that punch. And as a Queensland, imagine you're like on the field, you're a Queensland boy, and you go in the field, and then all of a sudden you're gassing after about 25, 30 minutes, and then Big Red's coming on off the back fence. That's going to pump you up. That's going to give you that second win that you need. I'm not saying that the boys on the bench can't do that for the Queensland, but Horsburgh is just known for that energy. And again, we've talked about it religiously here, that a guy's like, not Cotter, what's his name? Torres Peck. Keep forgetting his name. Gilbert. Tommy Gilbert. Yep. Tommy Gilbert was that guy for us a couple of years ago. Haven't got him. Haven't got Big Red. We just haven't got that mongrel. I want someone to just really eat someone's head off in New South Wales. And Chris, as a New South Wales supporter, you must be frothing that, I think, to be honest.
Oh, look, I love it. Like, it's Queensland in crisis. It brings a smile to my face. I am scared, however. Like, at some point you kind of go, oh, just the complacency. Like again, like, why is Kurt Capewell in your team? Like, why is he starting? Like, surely there's somebody better than Kurt Capewell. And again, also, why is Ezra Mam in your team? Like, he's not playing. Like, why do you need the drama of it all? Yeah. I'm very happy as a New South Welshman. Yeah.
And Jake, I'll echo what you said earlier with the Tommy Dearden statement. I kind of like him coming off the bench. Don't get me wrong, Kurt Mann's very good, and I probably would still pick Kurt Mann because obviously he can help carry Grant at hooker. But yeah, I think Cherry Evans does deserve that send off. And if the pack wasn't going forward in game 1, and if it's going to be the same situation in game 2, Dearden and Munster are going to have the exact same problems in game 2. I don't think it was a Cherry Evans problem. Yeah, fair enough. He didn't have the best game regardless, but he's going to make it even harder for himself if, again, your forwards aren't going forward, and that's what they're meant to be doing. But so, Chris, New South Wales, obviously they lost Mitchie Barnett with the ACL injury, and it's a straight one swap for Stefano Ukamanu. What are your thoughts on Stefano getting in over blokes like Keon Kulamatangi or Lindsay Smith, who's been brought into the squad, or Terrell May, obviously, as a Tiger supporter? Get the claw out. What are your thoughts, mate?
As I say every week, justice for May and Keon. No, look, honestly, if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't really mind. I don't really care. Like, it's off the bench. He'll do a job for us. I don't think that role is super, super important. Like, would have been great if we had somebody like Ola instead, is what I really think. He could just steamroll through people, and that's what you want. I know we've got Spencer Lenu already, but if you've got to get another type of guy who can make such a forceful impact, that would be great. Yeah, but I have no strong feelings about Stefano, really.
Yeah. And I think his tackle efficiency is like 90% or something for Melbourne. So he's going to do a very, very good job. And watching the Melbourne Storm play in the weekend, obviously Jerome Hughes popped off, but I thought Stefano definitely cemented his case. He was so close, like 2 times getting over the line and just not getting that ball down. But yeah, New South Wales, man, they're going to be very, very hard to beat, and they're rightful favourites. Queensland, obviously they're underdog, and we love being the underdog, but $3 being an underdog, a little bit nervous. But implications for SuperCoach. So guys like Bo Fermor obviously are back in. Chris, let's go to sort of guys we're looking at this week. Would a guy like Bo Fermor, he's playing round 15, obviously, would he be a sort of guy you'd be looking at this week, or?
Yeah, look, you could definitely consider him. He's back down at like I think 600-ish, so he's dropped back down considerably. He's dual CT dub to RF. He plays 15, plays 16, will play 19. I think he misses 18 if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, he could be angry and he could punch up a good score. I think, yeah, so he's not a bad buy. I think there are more pressing buys, however, this week, but 100%, if you really want him and you need that you like that dual ability, to move people up and down from CTW to 2RF, yeah, I don't disagree. Jakey's definitely convinced me. He's a good buy from a few weeks ago.
Well, Jake, you love a centre wing 2RF duel. What are your thoughts on Fermor?
He's not coming into my team, and I did sell him when he kind of maxed out, I think a couple of weeks back now. Yeah, when I'm starting to look at my trades now, I think I've made 2 or 3 at the moment. I'm going to be making 3 this week, so I'll be left with 12 trades at the end of this week. So yeah, definitely starting to run thin. So I'm very conscious of who I'm bringing in. I want to try and lock in some season keepers. Obviously got a bit hurt over the weekend with Iro going down. So even that scary thought of injuries are already starting to creep in as well.
Yeah.
That's all it takes, and that can really hurt your team and hurt your potential towards the end of the season now. So been really focused on these bye rounds and origin period. And yeah, moving into, I guess, the halfway through it now. I've been very, very careful with my trades. And yeah, Bo Fermor, I've sold him and he's not one I'll be bringing back in.
Yeah, 100%. I just hope he pops off against Manly. So, Chris, let's go straight into actual buys for the week, or guys you're looking at. Who you targeting, or who you think would be a buy for the public out there?
Yeah, well, I think that the most interesting thing, obviously, the most pressing thing this week is fullback. There's a couple of guys who are become very, very enticing. First one off the block would be Scotty Drinkwater. He's 742k, I think. He was so dangerous against the Storm last week. 105. Like, he was so, like, I watched him closely because I own him, and he's so much fun to watch. But he was so close to another, 1 to 2 more tries. It was so close to another 3 to 4 line breaks. It could have been easily 160 points, really. And I think that he's one of the top 3 fullbacks this year, along with Teddy and Pappy for the next couple of weeks, say. I say buy for sure. Like, he's such an easy trade for, especially if you're an Iro or a Lehigh owner. The 14 that he had against Manly a few weeks ago, that drops out this week, and he plays all bye rounds. I think that the only people who should be thinking twice about Scotty Drinkwater, I think owners of Pappy, Teddy, and Turbo, which I think is you, Ryan. Because the question for you then will be, for these guys are you going to trade Turbo out after you've held him for 2 weeks? Or are you selling Pappy, who's just lost 70k this week?
Don't you dare bring that up, Chris, because I could have done it last week, and I said I could have done it last week. Not doing it.
The other guy I'd also talk about as well, before I let Jake respond as well, is James Tedesco. Teddy's 843k. Like last week he was on the bye, and the week before I think he scored 91, and I think it's insane because I called that a win. Like, he comes into such a great draw. Like, this week he plays Newcastle away. Then he's at home against the Cows. Then there's a bye in round 17, Tigers, and then Dragons, Sharks. Like, he's got to be 120, but I think you also have to consider buying him. I don't think he's going to get much cheaper, really. I think it's a difficult one as well. If for people who do own Turbo and don't have Teddy, do you sell Turbo to Teddy this week? Thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, I 100% agree with your Drinkwater sentiment there, Chris. He'll be one fullback I'll be bringing in this week. I'm jumping off the Gutho train. I think he lasted 2 weeks.
Welcome.
It was always a risk, and I knew the risk as well. But he's made cash for me, surprisingly, even after just I think a 60 and a 40, essentially, over the past fortnight. But I made a little bit of cash out of him. And yeah, I think it's time to move him on, even though he will be playing this week and the round 18 bye. But yeah, haven't been happy with these past 2 weeks. And at the end of the day, we're here to win. So it's not just about worrying about the 3 major bye rounds of the week. And because the Dragons do have the bye next week, those mini buys can be tough. So yeah, he's my man. I'll be swapping to Drinkwater this week personally. And yeah, just quickly on James Tedesco as well. He will be eventually my third fullback that I'm hoping to get. I do have Pappy and now Drinkwater. But I'm just keeping my fingers crossed he gets under 121 of that break even that he has this week. I can't afford to bring him in this week. So yeah,
What's
I just
happened,
play my
Jake? I
cards
thought you
right.
had the treasure trove of cash.
Yeah, they're sitting in my players. They're not in my bank for once. So, and I'm running out of trade. So I do have to calculate this pretty closely and definitely watch what I'm doing. But yeah, even after my 3 trades this week, I'm only going to have 13 playing this week. And with Sandon Smith being benched for the Roosters, that's definitely disappointed me a bit. So yeah, definitely like Drinkwater. Yeah, for those who don't own, I think Chris, you nailed it on the head with all your comments, depending on obviously people's teams with what they have at the back there. But yeah, Teddy's on my watch list. I'm hunting him down, just waiting for that right opportunity.
Ryan, we did it. We got him to use his money. It's in his players.
Yeah, you guys tricked me. You guys tricked me. I could be bringing in Teddy this week, and now I can't. So I have spent my money.
Well, maybe you have to join the Nuff train like I've been doing, mate. Free up that cash. Like as I said last week, I got that one Nuff out there and it got me 378k, and mate, it's looking pretty good for me in the next coming weeks. I'm going to be the All-Stars or the Monstars from Looney Tunes Space Jam. My team looking pretty good. Now, boys, before we even get to more players, there's a conundrum here. Now, as you just mentioned, boys, with the Sandon Smith situation going to the bench, big Jazzy Tavanga has got the bye next week, maybe gets a late shift to the front row. But, boys, I've got double bench hooker. What the hell do we do? Like, Chris, rattled. What's happening at hooker this week?
Oh, York, absolute disaster. Absolute kick in the dick. You know, thanks, Robbo. Look, that being said, I think this is a good opportunity to remind, you know, like, I'm holding, can I be honest? Like, the good thing about this year with Flex is that even if Hook is such as just an awful graveyard, really. That's all I can say about it. And the less trades you can make there, the better it is. Like, this week it doesn't matter because it's just your top 13 playing, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I think for you, Ryan, I think Jazz Tavanga is a hold. He's been killing it. Like I said last week that, mate, you are so lucky with him. And he's been such a good buy for you. But you know, he managed to pump out like 59 last week with like a fractured rib. So, you know, and I think he's still got another 100k to make. So I reckon you just keep him. And even if he doesn't, I think he's got a break even of like something like 29 this week. I'm sure he's going to definitely make it and hold your money, and then you can reassess next week.
Unfortunately, Chris, I have to correct you there. He has a break-in of 54.
Oh, 54.
So he's 540k.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a hold this week, and then I'll definitely sell next week. I think I might just go straight to Harry Grant next week, and then, hey, if he doesn't play, at least it's just a guy there ready to go, and then I'm out naff out Sandon Smith eventually, or even just hold him there. Who knows what happens at hooker?
Yeah, I think you hold Sandon as well because you don't know what happens. He could start late minute start. Sam Walker could get a setback or something like that during the game, and then he's starting again next week. I wouldn't touch it really.
Yeah.
And actually, I thought it was a good opportunity to bring up last week when everybody's thinking about buying Appy and Damien Cook. Cookie scored 35. Appy did score 63, but 63 is actually also what Cam McInnes gives you every week. So there's just Starling was scored 57, but he looks like Owen Paddy's is taking his minutes up now. So there's just no big scores in this position. I think you're right. You just don't waste any trades, or you just simply consider just selling out to Harry Grant or Connor Watson. Yeah. Thoughts, Jake?
For sure.
Yeah, I actually agree with the Smith hold and the Jazz hold. And it depends on your trade numbers there, Ryan, too.
12.
12, yeah.
After two trades.
Yeah, everyone's definitely getting low on the trades. Jazz has made you some good money, even if he only pulls out 30 somehow, which I actually think he'll probably get more from you off the bench. I don't know if he'll jump into that hooker role, lock role, front row role over the weekend, but he's up against the Titans, and as much as I love my teammate, they are on the bottom of the ladder with Tino and Mo out. So, yeah, you couldn't ask for probably a better matchup for Jazz to be going up against this weekend. And then, as for Smith, exactly what Chris said, there's always that Sam Walker risk. Hugo, I wouldn't say he's cemented that 6, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So Smith can provide that backup coverage for you at the moment. And, just wait for that nice opportunity to kind of sell Jazz and move on. But, it's definitely tough who to move on to. I probably wouldn't be going to McInnes, just with just thinking ahead, the round 18 bye. The Sharkies are on that, so you won't be able to get McInnes playing that one. So I'd probably look elsewhere, personally. I know I jumped on the Appy train when we were all talking about it 3-4 weeks ago now, and he's done great for me. Made a lot of money, decent scores, like 60 plus, I think, nearly every week.
80 minutes.
And he's got the bye this week, but round 18 he's playing. So it's really worked out for me, that Appy trade in. But, moving forward, I don't know if Appy's a great buy. So, at the moment for you, Ryan, I feel like, both your sub-hookers are holds.
Yeah, I think such valid points. So much can change. And, I'm not sold on the current Roosters hooker. But, against anything can happen. Anything can happen. I still project him to get probably at least 30 minutes. So, he's a hold. Jazzy Tavanga, again, as you said, Jake, Titans are woeful at this stage. So, even if he gets 40, he'll only lose a little bit of cash. So, I'm not too stressed about that. But, boys, currently, what are our numbers looking like? So, I've got 14. Chris, how many you got?
I have 12 at the moment for this week. I'm planning to buy 3 players, so I should end up with 15.
Yeah. And Jakey?
I currently have 13, but could easily make it 14. I know we were speaking earlier about fullbacks, and Drinky definitely seems like the right answer. However, I could keep Gutherson. So this is, I guess, like reaching out to you two gents and listeners. Would love some tips here, because I did get some red arrows last week. So please help me out and be kind. I could either get rid of Gutho and go to Drinky, which I think for me is my current play, and that keeps me at 13 for this week. Or I can keep Gutho, get that extra number, boost me up to 14 playing this week, and sell Iongi. I can't afford Drinky, unfortunately, from Iongi, but could grab Turbo as a bit of a risk play. So, I'm definitely leaning towards a Drinky move at the moment. But, I will be playing with 13, I think, this week.
Couple of questions here and statements. The first one is Gutho does well when Tuapolotu was there. Tuapolotu is now injured again. So I think Gutho you gave your answer to yourself. Drinkwater must be the guy in. However, now Drinkwater's pretty highly owned in a lot of the better teams, obviously. So if you are looking for a bit of a pod in regards to climbing the overall rankings, I know you're more head-to-head, you could be a bit risky and jump on the turbo train with me.
Yes, Turbo.
But then
I knew you'd say that.
But then the next question is, how many Manly players do you have because they have the bye coming up? Now, you can't be like me and have like 7 Manly players. So how many Manly players do you have, mate?
Yeah, so I currently have 3,
Okay,
and that's
manageable.
excluding Turbo. So yeah, next week would be a tough week, especially with everyone's talking about and is aware of the Perth game and Origin players most likely not backing up.
Yep.
So yeah, that's definitely another reason for me to lean towards that Gutho Drinky train.
Yep.
But I'd be very confident in it if, Sandon Smith hadn't been named at 14. I don't want to see that orange exclamation mark in his header. I wanted to see that green tick to have kind of 13 solid players. But yeah, I think 13 is going to be my number this week.
Yeah.
I think you go with option 1, what you're going all along with. Move Guffo out to Drinky. He's going to start losing cash this week. Guffo, that is. You're starting to get low on trades. You need to get some season keepers in, Jake, and there's no need to risk, fullback roulette with Turbo. Like, Drinky gives you a number for every single buy round now until like for the rest of the season. Actually, he doesn't have any more buys now. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, until 27. So yeah, 100% get him. Yeah, don't. There's no need to risk Turbo. You can, Iongi's price doesn't change this week. I think he's ultimately a sell as well at some point, but you can consider selling him next week. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That Iongi to Teddy essentially is the end goal. So once I start to look at those enoughs or move around a few trades. So yeah. Bring it on, Drinkwater. He's coming in. So
drink some water. All right. Yeah, that Drinkwater fade again. It's been the old butterfly effect, as we say here. Like, had Ponga, okay, got rid of Ponga. I was like, okay, this is the time to get Drinkwater in. He was like 600k at the time. And I was like, nah, let's go back to Ponga. So Ponga came in. Ponga gets injured, goes to Origin, whatever. Nah, let's get Turbo in instead of Drinkwater again. And then Drinkwater goes up to 900k and Turbo gets injured for 2.5 weeks. So, yeah, not optimal. But boys, talking about injuries, 2 highly owned or highly popular players in the centre wing position being Ero and Tamale. Now, obviously, they're both sells. Who are we looking at, boys? Centre wings, hotly contested. I got one boy in mind. I want to hear your thoughts. Jermaine Asako. Currently, he's got a break-even -6. Projected, obviously, 100 points this week against the Cowboys. Yeah, I don't think he's doing that, but we'll see. He got 132 points. He's got another 82 in his rolling average. Jake, thoughts on the Iceman Asako?
Yep, love it. Great trade, good in. I'm bringing him in this week as well. I believe I mentioned him a few weeks ago. He was at a great bottom dollar of like 520 or something like that. And yeah, Dolphins once again showing some great form. I know everyone definitely looks at Herbie. Understandably, he's always consistent, bringing in those numbers, and as Adam would like to say, king of junk. So brings in some good points for you, but I can't afford Herbie. So yeah, Jermaine, I'm more than happy to bring in Asako. He converts. Yeah, Dolphins are finding some form. He'll pretty confident he can get you some good points.
Yeah. Chris, thoughts on the Iceman?
Yeah, I'm bringing him in too, guys. Yeah, I'm shocked by how many people bring him in. But then I had a look, and he's like the 4th most traded in player this week. I thought everybody would jump on Herbie. I was like, nah, he can't keep scoring, Herbie. So I was like, I don't have money for him anymore. He's too exy for me. He's not worth it at 740. So I was like, yeah, brilliant. Let's bring Asako in. Yeah, look, I think I like Asako. I think a lot of his his points are also tied into how well the Dolphins are going at the moment. Like, he's been averaging about 20 plus points in goal kicking in the last few games, really. So he goes away now, I think. Let me just see his draw really quickly. He plays away. Oh yeah, this week to Queensland Cowboys, and he's turned up 3 out of 4 times at Qbus. So I think he's definitely worth a shout. Really, yeah. And so long as the Finns are playing well, I think he'll rack up points. The other thing that was really frustrating at the beginning of this year, I think, was Herbie was playing the right center originally at the year before he switched over to the left, and he just wasn't passing Asako the ball. And I think the same thing that Jack Vosspots actually received the ball and scored actually recently. But yeah, but Avarillo has been passing him the ball, and so therefore he's been scoring. So yeah, 100%. Goodbye.
I think for me personally, it's sort of a little preview to my trades currently, but Tamale and Asako, pretty much the same price. Eero to Herbie Farmworth, who's my other boy I'm bringing in this week, pretty much 1 for 1. So I'm not really losing any cash. And again, arguably both season keepers. If Asako's keeping this form for the rest of the year, he's almost a must-have. And obviously with that goal converting. But I think the reason why I'm bringing 2 Dolphins is another guy who's also hotly contested this week is Isaiah Katoa. Now, the Nathan Cleary situation, Ivan, the coach of the Panthers, has stated that the boys from Origin won't be backing up. Then they have a bye, then essentially Origin again. Is Cleary now a sell? And maybe Isaiah Katoa could be that replacement. Jake, bit smoke and mirrors here, but what are we thinking?
Look, he could definitely be a sell, and I feel like it's been a consideration, I guess, over the past 3-4 weeks. We've known Cleary's going to be involved with Origin. There was obviously that risk over the past 2 games of him potentially going big, and he hasn't. So for those who did jump off 3 weeks ago or whatnot, they've done pretty well, I think. But now's another good opportunity, I think. With 2 more games of Origin, not backing up, only getting 60 over the weekend. I think his BE would be pretty high at 107. So definitely manageable for Cleary, but definitely not a bad sell. Personally, I'm not, but yeah, I can definitely understand if people are jumping off him.
Chris, thoughts, mate?
Yeah. Let's talk Cleary first, and then we'll talk Katoa. Yeah. Cleary, he misses the next 3 of the next 4, pretty much. But here's the thing: if you trade him out, you'll need him back by round 19 because he plays Parramatta, Souths, West Tigers, all at home, and then Gold Coast and Newcastle. He's definitely going to be playing Parramatta in round 19. It's on Sunday at 4:00. And obviously game 3 is Origins in Sydney, so there's no travelling involved. The question is, who do you sell him to this week? And I think Katoa is somebody that you think about, that you can definitely consider. Like Jake said, I think there's conceivably a world in which you just completely hold him for 2 reasons. The first one is, hey, you're getting low on trades and you go, hey, I want to keep him. Then if you don't sell him, you don't lose money on him. But 2, the other one is if you genuinely actually believe you have the best 2 halfbacks combination, really. But in my opinion, I think that 780K on the bench is an absolute luxury for the next 4 weeks, especially when we're all struggling to get 13 and 17 in the bye rounds. Like, the other one as well is for Jerome Hughes owners who aren't necessarily convinced after he scored 136 last week. You could sell Cleary to a halfback that you really like, but you get to still keep Hughes. And now you just let Hughes and this new halfback just duel it out for the next 4 weeks. And then you just sell the losing halfback back to Cleary in round 9-19. In terms of Katoa, yeah, he's been great, honestly. Like, he's been I picked him up in draft. Nice. And he's been scoring like 65 for me. Yeah. And I reckon he will definitely, over the next 3 weeks, average you 70. The issue is that, like, the next 3 games he plays are all away. And he usually scores better at Suncorp. That's the first thing. Second thing is he has to do a lot. Like, he doesn't have goal kicking. And so that is another concern, really. And you just know he's not going to get 100 at all. You know his top score is going to be like 99. Like, I know he was literally yesterday, like last week was 99, but I don't think he's going to score like big. So there's no chance you can VC him, admittedly. But if you just need somebody just to tick you by some points, you could definitely go for him. The other player that you could get this week would be DCE. You just know he's going to be absolute pissed. He's just going to be ready to go against the Titans this week. But honestly, I think it might be time to get Nico Hines, Timo Cleary, Ryan. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna
jump off if I can, bro.
I'm still on the hate. Look, I'm still on the hate train, but it might be time. Can I tell you why?
I'll give you a reason not to, and Jake's going to value this one. 104 break even. It's going to take him 3 weeks to get there.
And he's not playing the round 18 bye.
True.
I don't think Nico's the right man. And it's the exact same thing with Katoa. I know I didn't have any comments, earlier. I kind of just honed in on the Cleary out. But even Katoa, the Dolphins don't play round 18 either. So, yeah, I think for me personally, I have obviously a halfback playing in Sandon Smith off the interchange this week. And Sandon Smith will be there again, playing again next week, even if it is off the bench, which does hurt. But I intend to bring in Hughes because I actually have Smith in my halfback position. So I believe Hughes has a break even of like 34 after that 135 or whatnot last week. And yeah, Storm are playing round 18 bye. So Hughes essentially is the man you want to have moving forward. And if you've already got him, you just need to get through this week. So it all looks at your numbers. But if you're surviving this week with 13, 14 players, hopefully, hold Cleary. Yeah, like great foresight there, Chris, looking at the draw from round 19 onwards for the Panthers. And yeah, those 5 games, I think you listed off, all great matchups. So Panthers are a top tier team. Good chance the Blues are going to be doing their absolute best to win the series. A lot of Panthers in that team are going to come off a high. They're going to want to be doing their absolute best to make the 8. And yeah, if anyone's going to help them get there, it's the best halfback in the game. So
yeah, Jake is right. Like, I mean, if you don't have enough numbers for 18, then yeah, Nico definitely isn't the guy to go to. But can I tell you a couple of stats? So he's playing St. George this week. He averages 128 against him. It's at home at Shark Park, and he's a really, really good one. Listen to this, because I think he's the guy to go to, because his home run is insane. After the round 18 bye, right, he plays 5 of their last 8 games at Shark Park, and their draw then is starting in round 19. Finns, Roosters, Souths, and then Cowboys. And then the last 4 games are St. George, Titans, Knights, and Bulldogs. So these guys, other than the Bulldogs, who are going to be resting their players probably, they could absolutely just torch the other 3 teams. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I sort of zoned out for a second. I'm just doing mathematics here, trying to predict what's happening, because there's a couple other boys I want to talk about instantly here. The Bulldogs boys, in regards to Jacob Preston and Jacob Carraz, the Jacob times 2. Now, they're so juicy. I want them so bad. But the bye next week has thrown me off. I could literally go Katoga from the Parramatta Eels, straight swap in for Jacob Preston. Like, that's bloody good. I don't know if I can do it. Boys, what's the thoughts on the doggies with the minor bye around next week? So are you, Jake?
yeah, look, both Carraz and Preston. Carraz is actually in the centres this week. So I don't know how he performs there, SuperCoach wise. But yeah, did notice that. Very keen on getting Carraz back in, but I think he still has 105 break even this week.
Yeah.
So, and with the bye next week, I'm just, once again, he's on my watch list. I'm just going to wait for that good opportunity to bring him back in. And I actually have Jacob Preston I have been one. He's just been sitting on the bench for me for the past 5, 6 weeks or whatnot. I am very excited for him to come back.
Nice.
I believe Kickow got reported on the weekend. Satilli is still injured. Jacob Preston, he'll be so hungry to come back out there. He got to go into camp with the Blues. So, yeah, he's probably ready to come back, really do good for his team, being out for so long and, yeah, put in some solid effort. And, yeah, I'm expecting a big game and some good points. So, definitely like Jacob Preston, mate, for you. But, yeah, next week will hurt, I think. So, but what's Preston's break even real quick? 85.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mate, I'm telling you now, I'm playing him this week and he's gonna get over 85. So he's gonna be more expensive next week.
Bunter. Chris, thoughts?
My overarching thoughts are that they're both round 17 buys after their mini buy. Like Jacob Preston, I don't want him at 750. I want him at 600, 650. So therefore I've got to let him go through to the keeper. Jake made an awesome point. Like Kira's mate, he just shits base out for fun. Like offloading. Was it 12 offload yesterday? And the first 35 minutes was like in rain. Like it was raining and he's still doing it just because he can. And it looked all controlled as well. That's the scariest part. Like, but at center, I don't want him. I think he had something like 20 runs or something yesterday. Like he's not going to make the same. He's not going to be able to go up for those fifth tackle kicks and, and then make it, catch those bombs and then try system, So yeah, I'm just going to leave him, wait for him to lose a bit of more cash, and I'll pick him up in round 17. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards the same thing, and it's very hard. And Jake, I'm very jealous, but I appreciate the discipline too. Holy moly, holding Jacob Preston for that long. I'm just be rage trading him out of there. So yeah, well done, Jakey.
That's where his bank's been. It's actually just Jacob Preston is his bank.
Yeah, I told you guys, it's in the players. That's where the money's at. So he better produce this weekend. So I want those dividends, truly. So
yeah,
looking forward to it.
Chris, as you mentioned last week, Cheapy Watch has been a bit off the radar, but Nathan Lawson, he was actually my second trade last week. Last second for Robert Durbin, he bloody popped off, and as it all goes, I would have got 1,500 plus if I kept in because my AE would be different. But anyway, yeah, Nathan Lawson, he's holding a spot on the wing, and now that the money man Tuipulotu is injured, job security is pretty much there for him for at least the next month or so. What's our thoughts on Nathan Lawson being a buy this week?
I think yeah, 100%. You can still buy him if you really want to, but I don't think you have to buy him anymore because he only scored 19, so his break even isn't significantly real negative.
0.
Like he covers this week 18, 19. But the other thing that was interesting is I think he's been named on the right wing. You really want him on the left wing. I don't know why Sloan's been put on the left wing instead. So, if he played really well on the left, played awful on the right. If he's back on the right, he might score you 19 again, and then that's just a waste of a trade. Personally, I think that you're better off buying like Kane Bradley at 232 as a CT dub, 2RF dual nuff is what I honestly think. Yeah.
Will he be enough though? Because when the Melbourne Storm boys start resting players near the end of the season, Kane Bradley might be a valuable pickup. It's inevitable at the end of the year.
Just pray for Will Warbrick to come back from his HIA. He's got concussion issues.
Now, another boy of interest, and he's been absolutely popping off. 3-round average of 83.7. Plays for a woeful team in the Newcastle Knights. His name is Kai Pearce-Paul. What are our thoughts on Kai Pearce-Paul? He absolutely killed it last week. He got 97 points. He's currently valued at 612,000. He's got a break even of 17. Jake, thoughts on KPP?
Yeah, I haven't looked at KPP at all, but just hearing all those stats rolled off, yeah, really like KPP. Once again, coverage this week, coverage for round 18, I'm almost certain. No, Knights actually are on the bye for round 18. So yeah, just for the next 3 weeks essentially. But I have Dylan Lucas already in my second row. I'm not that keen to bring in another Knight in
Yeah.
that position when I'm already pretty stacked in second row as well. So for me personally, I'm not interested. But yeah, I feel like that one's definitely team dependent. If you're looking for numbers, maybe you're looking at if you're happy to trade out some of your Origin players for the next month or so. KPP, yeah, going off those stats wouldn't be a bad buy at all.
Yeah. Chris?
Not a season keeper, not a buy. Other thing as well is that he's just signed with the Tigers. I think like a few days ago, he could have a lot of these big numbers. It's just because he's just about to sign a contract, so he just wants to prove his worth. Another reason why he's not a buy, but whereas for example Bo Thermal might be a buy, is it's just because he doesn't have the dual CT dub as well. So therefore,
Yep.
nah, not at this time. Not at this time. Yeah.
Yeah. And another guy who's been popping off in the centre wing position, Cooler from the Manly Sea Eagles. Now, again, similar question. How many Manly boys is too many Manly boys? Kohler's been absolutely killing it. He's got 93. He's got a 3-round average of 79. He's got a 5-round average of 72. Currently valued at 625K with a break even of 37. Obviously, they've got the bye next week. Chris, thoughts on Cooler? He's been popping off.
Wow. I did notice his stats actually, I think last week or something like that, but I didn't think much more of it. Well, I mean, last week he was at fullback, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When after Hopewadi, and that's when he scored his 93 last week. It depends if you have enough, if you have enough, if you have too many Manly players, really, because of that. Yeah, same thing as Jazz. Yeah, same thing as Turbo as well. I would just pay the extra 100. I would actually just buy Turbo if I really wanted a Manly player. Yeah, not looking cooler. Not a season keeper.
Yeah. Jakey?
Yeah, I'm not interested in Cooler again, only because I don't have Garrick, and he's actually been my third trade this week. That's who Tamale's turned into for me.
Nice.
I think, yeah, up against the Titans this week, Garrick has probably bottom dollared for me, 588 with a BE of 45. Another player who's obviously converting, and we know how his ceiling can be pretty high at times. So, yeah, with Lehigh out, obviously, for I know this week and next week with the bye, Lehigh will be back after that. But Turbo's obviously always got that risk as well. Obviously, Cooler went back to fullback last week, but Garrick probably is that next man that can also go to fullback too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, I try not to keep kind of two of the same teams in the same positions in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you've already got Garrick, I probably wouldn't be looking at Cooler personally. And yeah, if in tossing up between the two, just going up the price and the potential of them, I'd probably even lean towards Ruben as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't be personally looking at Cooler.
Oh yeah, completely forgot about Garrick. Yeah, 100%. Get Garrick. Yeah, he's cheaper. He's like 50K cheaper. Yeah, 100%.
Mate, I feel like he just hasn't scored all year, eh? Like, he popped off the very start of the year, and then he's just been mid for the past, feels like 6-7 weeks now. So,
Doesn't matter. He's playing the tits this week. Expect big goal kicking points incoming. Dry track.
yeah. Tommy Turbo, 200 points probably too. Get on it.
Please, please.
And again, I think it's the theme of today's show, the centre wings. Now, I briefly brought this up last week, but Jackson Purdue, again, one of the guys who I just rage traded after like 3 weeks. He wasn't making money, and all of a sudden just goes into the stratosphere with cash generation. But he's currently at 594K. He's got a break even of 35. Obviously, no Tommy Deard in there, which is going to be a bit concerning. But again, good position. He's going to get that dual 5'8" center wing as well, which is again going to be useful. Boys, Purdue, any love for him, Jake?
I had Purdue from the beginning of the season at that 250 range, 280 range, I think it was. And I think I sold him around the high 500s because I thought he'd maxed out. And then, yeah, I've noticed him get some triple digit scores ever since I sold him as well. So it has, yeah, I'm in the same boat. Definitely hurt to see him score so well and not have him. And I wish I kind of looked at the buy rounds a bit closer. Because, yeah, obviously the cows are providing some great buy coverage. With a low BE, yeah, look, once again, there's heaps of centre wings to consider. And I don't know in terms of season keepers if, yeah, he's one that's a must. As soon as we get through this buy period, you've got the likes of Lomax, Holmes, that are definitely on my watch list as well that I'd kind of love to bring in. And yeah, even Carraz. So there's three players who I feel like will produce bigger numbers more consistently. So yeah, Purdue's definitely not a terrible buy, but yeah, for me personally, yeah, not touching.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, Jakey's covered everything. I've got nothing more to add. Yeah.
Oh, boys, any other players of interest that could be buys this week? Jakey?
In terms of buys this week, I guess it depends where you're lacking numbers. I feel like, yeah, we've definitely spoken a lot about centre wings and fullbacks. Yeah, Teddy, Drinky, we've already touched on them, which are great. And just with the Iro Tamale injuries, there's a lot of focus there. But there's no one really else jumping out to me, I think. It is a hard round, obviously, with so many teams on the bye. But I think it's just back to that forward planning now. Start to look at the players that, especially for next week and the coming weeks, they're going to do really well. Yeah, Jerome Hughes is probably my number one watch personally. I'd say Sandon Smith. I know we're all talking about hold him for now kind of thing, but I'd say he's going to be the man for me that disappears and turns into Jerome Hughes next week. Yeah, and just with that 34 BE. So start to look at the players I think that are season keepers. Yeah, they're definitely the word you really need to keep at the forefront moving forward now. So look for that good buy coverage, especially after Origin, and yeah, start looking at those season keepers. Watch those trades. Be very careful with them.
Yeah. Chris?
Yeah, no. Actually, the only one interesting one I had was Jesse Ramian. I know I talked about him last week, and he's actually been going around on the on some of the other podcasts, really. But what is he? He's 400k now, literally 400k on the dot.
Cheap.
Yeah, and yeah, he gives you that this week, round 16, round 19 cover, and now surely now that Ero's gone, surely the Sharks like focus more on the right side attack, really. Like to give you some stats once again. Jesse hasn't scored a try since round 1. He scored 6 tries last year and then 11 tries in 2023 and then 10 in 2022. So he's due he could go huge. Yeah, he could go huge. But I think he's a good downgrade if you let's say you're buying Teddy this week and you need to drop somebody, you want to drop a Robert Toyer to give you some money, but he's not a season keeper. But if you've already got like a pod, like, if you're getting a Sarko this week, I wouldn't be getting him. There's just not enough space for him, but he's a fun one. If you're going, hey, I really believe in the Sharks, and I think they're going to go well. Yeah.
A quick note, if you are looking at Ramian too, like Hirotti's back in the side with Ero out. And he scored 74, he's 391 with a break even of 33. So if you are happy to bring in some Sharks players, if you got that coverage for round 18, yeah, if you're looking at Ramian, then yeah, Hirotti is definitely another player worth noting too. So, and just a quick shout out to those people who jumped on Gagai over the past couple of weeks as well. Yeah, well done. He's been on fire too. So he's up at the 634, break even of 47. And scored 84 last week. He's named a captain. He's been doing a real good job for the Knights too.
Yep.
But yeah, not saying he's a buy though, just with that round 18. I'm just now focused on that round 18. So I feel like I've done my work for this week, and now already I'm starting to think about that next big one. So just be careful of that.
Yeah, speaking of Sharks, Mulatalo Ryan just tried to trade him to me for David Fafita on draft, and I said,
Good
"Get
trade,
fucked,
man.
get fucked." And now I've said that he's going for 100 now. He's going for a hat trick, guys. Get on him.
Someone playing versus someone not playing. You got Kale Ero's not playing. Sounds like it's a 2-for-1 trade almost. You're welcome, in other words. But there is actually one more boy I want to talk about, and it is Jaden Campbell, my beloved Gold Coast Titan. So the only thing that's deterring me at the moment is, yes, the round 18 bye. The 99 break even's also deterrent as well. And obviously there's a bit of turmoil currently with the Titans. He's currently at 658k, but he, again, is arguably a top 3 5'8" for the year. Obviously has that duel, but you'd probably never put him at fullback. It's either 5'8" or nothing. Shame he hasn't got the halfback duel. Bit premature by SuperCoach changing that across. Thoughts on Jaden Campbell, Jake, as a Titans boy?
For me, not this week. Yeah, I know he can definitely hit that 100 mark. But yeah, with a 99 BE, with their captain out and Mo out, I think Manly are probably up for a decent game this week.
Yeah,
I know the
100%.
Titans are at home, but I probably wouldn't be going near JC at the moment. And once again with that round 18 bye, but I 100% agree that after that round 18 bye, kind of keep him on that watch list. He is 100% in the top 3 5'8" that you could definitely be jumping on. So I've got Munster and Metcalf as my 2 5'8", so I'm pretty well set. So unless one of them goes down, and I feel like I need to trade them, but JC is definitely a great player to have in your team.
Yeah, and Manly's pretty much full strength this week against, as you said, 2 Titans boys in our forward pack. So, I think not the play this week for sure. Chris, thoughts? Even with your Titans hat on?
Yeah, no, look, honestly, anytime you can get a season keeper at the cheapest he's been all season, 100% go get him. The only difference between this Manly team and the Manly team 3 weeks ago against a Parramatta and they looked so mid that game, if you remember, is only DCE, honestly. They could leak absolute points. You never know. Like this year, just the whole NRL in general, as you know, you never know which team. Any team can beat any team. You never know which team shows up. Manly could leak, 30 points. JC could go huge. I think if you want to get him this week, definitely get him. Yeah. I wish I didn't get him last week, and I wish I got him this week, actually, because he's just cheaper. Yeah. 100%.
So the 99's not deterring you?
Nah, definitely not. Sure, he could go even cheaper, but then, which was it? Which was it round? Was it the second buy round when you bought Ryan last year and he went for 140 points?
Oh, true. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was a buy round. I remember that.
Yeah.
And I was like, why the hell did Ryan buy JC? I remember thinking. So not a deterrent.
Oh, now I'm rattled. Now I'm actually
stay away, mate. Round 18 bye. Think ahead. Look at your team.
One more week. That's spicy. That's so spicy. Because ideally, AJ Brimson's gets shifted down to centre wing, and then I guess put JC at 5'8" with Cam Munster. That's the perfect world. But again, Metcalf's obviously a great shout too, even though you are rage trading him out, then put him back in, Jake, and we all laughed at you, but now look at you. You're the one on top of the mountain.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Such a good buy.
Yeah, cost me 2 trades, I think, within the first 2 rounds. But I've held him ever since. So, and my biggest loss though is I've barely played him. And every time I don't play him, he's scoring big. I'm seeing him triple digits, got 74 last week, didn't play him. Yeah, I keep playing Munster over him, and just too much money on the bench there. And I'm just struggling to pick my form reserves each week. Not getting them right.
So, boys, I think that's the buys. What about our holds this week? I'm not going to say Pappenhausen as the sell, because if it was going to be a sell, it'd be last week. I think Pappenhausen's certainly a hold. He's a season keeper. We've already talked about that in great lengths. Even that 115 break even on the buy, he's certainly a hold for me. If you want to get Drinkwater in or another guy, I just wouldn't be doing it.
Yes, I'm going to disagree with you, Ryan. I think he's a sell for me this week, and it's only because I own Turbo. That's all I want to say. Yeah, I will say that I think he's a sell to Teddy. I think Teddy's a better player than Pappy. I think I need Teddy in my team. Like, and again, he's also been the cheapest he's ever been. He could, I like Jake. I thought about literally just like fading him for one more week, and he could be even cheaper. But for me, cash isn't a huge issue. I think for me, Pappy's at least a 1 week sell, and then I reassess next week.
Wild takes.
Yeah.
Wild takes. Where was this last week?
No. See, the difference was last week you couldn't sell because Cows last week at Amy Park was just too dangerous. Like if Pappy went for like 180, then I just didn't want to see another guys. I'm sad comment in the chat for Ryan.
Facts,
Guys, don't listen to Chris. He's got money hungry and he's enjoyed seeing those green arrows last week, and he's trying to sabotage every listener out there. We all know, we've been saying it, season keepers, Pappenhausen's that guy. Drinky, Pappy, Teddy, they're essentially the top three in fullback. Pappy's got a 115 BE. Teddy's got a high one at 121. He's more expensive. Guys, wait a week. Trust me. Hold Pappy. He gets a rest this week. He'll bounce back next week. Yeah, and then wait that week and jump on Teddy then. So hold. Trust me. We're talking about holds, not sells. Pappy is a hold.
Yeah, great comms. I'm second that. Screw you, Chris. You screwed me over last week.
Didn't screw you in well enough, apparently.
Like
Still top scored
on the pod. Could have looked like a genius. Such is life. Another hole that I'm thinking of is Turbo. So if you've held Turbo this whole entire time, obviously he's a guy, even if Drinkwater's available, like again, I could go straight from Turbo to Drinky. I think, again, with the matchup for the Manly Sea Eagles, Turbo's certainly a hold if you've persevered like myself. I think the upside, again, he's a proven commodity, and the Manly Sea Eagles has been extra careful. He's had plenty of rest now. I think he's going to go absolutely popping off, and without spoiling the captain's preview later on, he's got the VC for me this week.
Oh, I totally agree with you, Ryan. As you know, I'm on the Turbo train with you every week. and look, he could go big this week. That's why if it's a case of selling Pappy or Turbo, Pappy scores no points this week. Turbo goes big this week. So I want to give Turbo one more week is what I want to see, and then reassess. And if he's absolute trash, and I'll sell him, and I'll just waste a trade to get Pappy back is what I think. And no harm. I've got the trades available to do it. Also, the reason why is everybody's got Drinky, Pappy, and Teddy. It's so boring. I want to have
bit of odd, eh?
Exactly right. The other hold that this week, talk about selling him. A couple of people, Cam Munster, especially because the 101 drops out of his rolling average. I know that Ryan, you bought money a few weeks ago, and what about selling this week? Because here's the thing, at best, he plays 3 of the next 5, and at worst, he plays 1 of the next 5. I definitely don't think he's playing round 16, flight from Perth, and he plays on Saturday. And then is also a very good chance at McDonald's. Round 19 is at Newcastle at Saturday as well, 3 p.m. Yeah, but I'm going to hold only because of this. His run late is absolutely awful starting in round 23. He plays after round 23. He plays Broncos, Penrith, Bulldogs, Roosters, and then Broncos again. That's the last one. Other than the Bulldogs, everybody here is trying to make a vying for top 8 spot. I reckon I'm going to keep him until round 22, and then I'll look to sell as opposed to sell him now, buy him again, and then sell him again. Yeah, that's just a waste of free trades. That's my hold.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah, don't give me that PTSD of the Cam Munster last second buy at Seabus Stadium after 110. What could have been with Keon? Oh God. Anyway, thoughts.
Look, once again, I'm fighting with you, Chris, tonight. That's two in a row. If anything, sell Munster. I've been doing my absolute best to hold my Origin players throughout this whole time, and that's why I feel like a lot of my money is caught up in my bench. However, I know we were just speaking about JC, and I wasn't really saying he's a buy, but Cameron Munster, 135 BE, 709,000. Save yourself some money, and you got a player that's playing this week in JC. Yeah, like we know Munster's obviously 100% in Queensland, so he may get rested, he may play reduced minutes, might pull up a bit sore, might not score as well over the next month again.
Yeah.
So if anything, yeah, I reckon now's probably the time to sell Munster. So I was considering it last week, but once again, just with Storm up against the Cows at Amy, that's obviously why Pappy wasn't a sell. It wasn't why for me. It was Cam Munster wasn't a sell as well. But yeah, if anything, yeah, sell Cam Munster this week.
Hurts my ears.
Yeah, no, no, that makes sense. Like, because here's the thing, it's just a case of, like you say sell Munster and I say sell Cleary. Like, you've just got to sell one of them, and if you can sell one of them, then you can keep the other. It's just who you think. I think both of them playing 1 out of 4, really. So yeah, but actually, I'd see where you're coming from, actually, Jake, because you keep Cleary, save yourself a trade, sell Munster. The question is just more, who do you buy him? Like, who do you buy instead? Yeah, and I really like Nico. Yeah, I really like Nico this week. He could he's a VC option. He's a VC option. Legit.
What, for 50 points? Captain Mid. That's about all he's going to be doing, mate.
I was really looking at before Matt Burton was named 18th man for the Blues. I actually would have really liked Munster to Burton. Yeah, so that was definitely something I was considering before. Yeah, Burton wasn't named. So obviously we've got Lockie Galvin in the 6 jersey this week.
Would you reconsider round 17?
I guess it depends on if Munster backs up and kind of. Yeah, I'd have to reassess at 17, I think. Need to see what pans out. Plus, Burton could easily keep that 18th man role for the Blues. So, yeah, specifically going Munster to Burton, I feel like that's not a really smart trade. You're just going to be playing another player that's not playing. If anything, it would be, hold Munster until, JC. But JC doesn't play the round 18, which obviously is something I'm very conscious of. So, yeah, definitely a few things to consider. But I think that Munster to JC this week, I think I was backtracking a bit there, was purely based off if you're looking for numbers. Yeah, Munster's kind of maxed his price. And as we said, won't be playing much. So, But Chris was definitely valid points. You could easily just do the exact same with Cleary to Hines, for example. Just depends on what you like, what you're vibing.
Yeah, actually, Birdo's not a buy. Not without the goal kicking, Jake.
No, it was just consideration essentially. But as soon as he's now in contention for the Blues again,
100%.
into that 18th man role, because he's the perfect 18th man in my opinion for them. Yeah, you could chuck him center, 6, like plenty of places. So and then but now he's back in that 18 jersey because I think was Ola Kawatu was 18th man game 1.
It was the centre
was
the Rabbitohs.
Campbell Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, doggies play the round 18 bye as well. So that was me kind of looking forward to. So, I really would have liked the option of Burton. But, that won't be happening.
Yeah. Now, another hotly contested hold, but people are selling on my SuperCoach screen right now. Tino Fasumalawi. He's 699k, just a tick under 700. He's got a break even 124. Minutes have been slowly reducing. Obviously, the role. So he's been 68, 72, 54 in the past 3 weeks. And I'm assuming the 54 probably be around where he's going to average the next couple of weeks, especially with Origin duties. Now, I can't get rid of him just because I can't be bothered trading him back in. He's obviously going to lose money, but you're not losing money if you got him for cheap at the start.
Mm.
So that's my logic with Tino. Chris, thoughts?
Yeah, nah. Don't trade him out. Like, obviously he's got reduced minutes because he has a sternum injury at the moment. Like, round 13, that was him backing up from Origin. So, I can imagine his minutes being down. And they got absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and then they got crushed by Melbourne as well. But yeah, I think last week was simply a case of Broncos. Yeah, with that sternum injury. It's like what you said. Don't trade him out because we've all got him for like 500K at the beginning of this year. Yeah, yeah. If you don't like, if he's not playing well, or if you don't think he's going to play well, just put him on your bench. Just don't play him. We've got heaps of depth this year in front row forward and 2RF.
Yeah, facts. Jake?
Yeah, I agree. He even potentially just turns into a great AE. He's got the duel as well. You can move him around. But yeah, moving forward, obviously a lot of nuffs will start to come in. And if he turns into, a potential bench player, or if you're going for a loop and he's the man that comes in as that AE potential, yeah, Tino, he's in that season keeper boat, in my opinion. So, plus, he's my only Titan in my team, and I got to have one Titan in my team, mate. So, yeah, he's not going anywhere for me.
Facts. Now, boys, do you own Zach Hosking?
Yes.
Jakey?
No,
Okay,
that was my trade to my little smoky Toby Couchman last week.
Okay.
Yeah. Not a bad trade, actually. Did Toby get 63, I think, this week? Yeah, last week. It was pretty good.
Was it last week? 63? Yeah, 63, got that duel, and obviously playing this week. So that was kind of just preempting this week to kind of make sure I had some numbers. So, but ended up being happy with that trade. But no Hosking for me.
Now, is Hosking a hold or is he a sell? Now, I'm holding because I want to have the number for next week, but I think the week after that, gone. But obviously, the job security seems pretty solid. Obviously, switching between middle and edge. Now, Chris, what are your thoughts as a fellow owner?
I would think very carefully before selling him because he's a number 4 round 16 and round 18 where he plays West Tigers and St. George. Then you consider selling. Then you sell him in round 19. Don't worry about the money. I mean, for me personally, at the moment, I have 13 players for round 19. So I'll be selling him then. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say he's a hold or a sell? Obviously, you sold him, but for the general public currently, would you hold him for next week if you've already held him this far? Jakey?
Yeah, for me, it would be purely based off numbers this week. I haven't really looked at second row, like to trade in this week personally. So I don't know. I know we mentioned KPP earlier, but I don't know who you'd sell him to unless it was just like a nuff kind of situation. But looking around, Jacob Preston, if you've got some spare cash, isn't a bad move, but you need to make sure you have the numbers for next week. So going off Chris's notes of that round 18 cover, if you've got the numbers this week, I think he's a good hold. And you'll have that extra number come round 18, and then that round 19 sell is probably a good shout.
Yeah. Now, boys, that's pretty much my main holds for the week. Have you guys got anyone else of interest that would hold before we get into the final sells?
Yeah, I might just quickly go first. Lehigh, you could sell this week. A lot of the appeal was him playing round 15, which no longer exists anymore. But if you've got pressing injury, trades that you have to do this week, I probably would hold for 1 to 2 weeks. You just want to see how, old Turbo No Knees goes, especially if he gets injured. He's right back in.
True.
And then the other one would be Dylan Brown. He'd been threatening to go low. I think J. Cole owns Dylan Brown, possibly. Do you own Dylan Brown? No, good.
No, I did. I did. He's disappeared for me though. So he's gone.
Yeah, his base has just dropped out precipitously. But I think you just have to hold because I know he did really badly yesterday, but that's because he played the Bulldogs and they rank like number 1 against 5/8. And there's nobody to sell him to. He's just lost so much value. So yeah. So I think you have to hold him.
Yeah. Jake, you got more holds before we get to sells, mate?
Mine would essentially just come around to numbers and looking at your origin players. Like, I know some people decided to jump off Payne Haas as well, coming into game one of Origin. He's got a high break even again, but for me, he's a hold. I know there was that scare of his quad, but I feel like he seems to be looking pretty good out there still. So yeah, if anyone's kind of considering Payne, yeah, I'd personally be holding him. I'm doing once again, my best to hold on to my Origin stars. But yeah, it comes down to numbers. So in terms of any specifics, yeah, I haven't got too many.
Yeah. All right, boys, we'll get into sells before we get into captains. I haven't got too many pressing sells. Like guys like Robert Toya could be a potential sell, but he's not in my current team. Yeah, we talked about guys of huge break evens, like potentially Cam Munster, your Tedesco or Pappenhausen, but in my eyes, they're definitely more holds than sells. Now, Payne Haas, what are our thoughts on potentially selling him? Chris, I know you sold him many weeks ago now. Would you advise the listeners to sell Payne Haas? Or would you make it more of a hold?
Nah, not anymore. Not anymore. Definitely not. Like he was. Can I be honest? I thought I thought he would be. I thought he'd do way worse. But that quad injury, not an issue for him. He scored 78 last week. It was insane. I don't think he's going to drop that much money any further. Really. I wouldn't be wasting a trade at all. Yeah, just like Tino. Yeah. I know he also clutched to the hamstring. I think last game as well. But again, I suspect he'll be fine. Just like the quad. Yeah. Keep him.
Yep. Jakey.
If we're talking about sells, yeah, if you're someone named Jake who decided to bring in Gutho, if you've been holding him for this time, I reckon get rid of him. High BE just isn't looking great. Yeah, in terms of other sells, yeah, Toya's actually definitely not a bad one, I guess. He's potentially peaked in price. And I know I personally was a bit concerned if Billy was definitely going to be keeping him. I know, yeah, he did a great job for Queensland game one, but with Murray Tuolagi kind of bouncing back as well on the wing, you could easily put the veteran Holmes back into centre, which seems to be his preferred position nowadays. And yeah, just with Holmes' goal kicking, I think he definitely was kind of always keeping his spot as well for Queensland. Sure. But yeah, with Toya, he'll be locked in for game 3, I reckon, now as well. So unless there's an injury or anything. So yeah, I'd actually be holding Toya, but I can understand if that's a sell. But yeah, if anything, the more earlier speaking around Munster, the more I kind of look at Munster. That's actually probably my favourite sell if you're kind of looking at any. Sorry, Ryan.
Such an L. Could have made like extra 200k. Could have been the cash king. Could have been the money man on SuperCoach.
Mate, don't listen to me. I'm ranked 21,000. I got red arrows last week. So I'm just here to give my opinion, mate. So yeah, don't base your trades off mine, I reckon.
Probably scumbag Adam will tell me to sell them just to annoy me. Well, we'll see. There's your slander for the episode, Adam. Dylan Lucas, break even 130. We talk about peaking in price. Is Lucas a season hold keeper, or is he more of a cash out while we can, while the iron's going hot? Chris, thoughts?
He's a season keeper, especially with the dual status. Keep him. Do not touch him. The base is incredible. It's like 60 plus, and as you could see, his ceiling is 148. Will he do it again? I don't think so, but yeah, no, definitely a keep. Yeah. Don't sell.
Yeah, there's a lot of great second rowers, and yeah, Dylan Lucas is definitely up there. I wouldn't be selling him this week, even though he obviously has, captain price probably this week. It would be definitely not a bad week, but he's playing this week. We need numbers. Yep. So yeah, he's definitely not a sell this week. With the round 18 bye coming up, if he does kind of drop a bit or maxes out in price somehow a bit more, and you decided to sell him to get more numbers like for the coming rounds, I guess I could understand it, but no, not this week. He's definitely a hold this week,
Yeah,
100%.
certainly agree. Boys, are there any more players of interest before we get into the captaincy and wrap up the show?
It probably doesn't. It goes without saying, but obviously, sell KL Iro. He has a bicep injury. If it's a partial tear, it's 4 to 6 weeks, and if he's ruptured, it's 12 weeks.
Yeah,
Same thing as Savele Tamale. They think he's dislocated his patella. If he needs surgery, he's gone, I think, for 12 weeks as well. I think you just thank him for the 320K price rise if you got him from the start, and then you just cash out. Same thing as Iongi. He's on the buy this week. Jake, I know you're not selling him this week, but, you sell him next week anyways. He's not making any more cash, and he's inferior to all the other big dog fullbacks. So you thank him also for the 350K that he's made buys, and you just move him on. Yeah, if it's this week or next week.
yeah. All right, boys. I think we just go straight into captaincies. Now, I'm currently sitting on a player by the name of Keon Kulamatangi. He's back. We're riding that ship all the way to the ground. As some other podcasters say, stack the pack. Should have done that instead of having that tin 1 week at Seabus Stadium when I got Cam Munster. But Keon, I'm riding you in. Prime play last week. It's a prime play this week. Thoughts on Keon as captain, boys? Jakey, start with you, mate.
Yeah, I love it. I've actually followed your lead from last week, mate. Yeah, I've put the orange tag on him as well. So yeah, he's definitely in hot form. There is a lot of like great vice captain and captain opportunities this week, but I do like, yeah, last game, yeah, South versus the Dogs, no Burton. I need to see if Kikau's getting a suspension after his leg tackle in a way when Moses was kicking the ball last round.
But yeah, no Critter and Max King either.
Yeah, exactly. No Critter and no Max King. So yeah, I know Souths are missing Latrell, but yeah, KK is definitely a great option. So yeah, he's got my orange tag this week.
Chris, thoughts on KK as a captain?
Oh, look, let me just check out the team list. Just let me see if Lockie Hubner's playing, if he is. In for a try. Yeah, look, dude, here's Keon. Oh, man. Maybe I should just listen to you, Ryan, as well. Seriously. Dude, even without that try, he's scoring 90. That's like Haas and like Terrell May numbers. Like, I know I should, but I probably won't. Like, the 1 week I captained the forward, I captained Haas where he's like 50. I remember, yeah. But yes, I reckon he probably should be. Yeah, I think you VC somebody with a really high ceiling, like somebody in the halfback or somebody, Timu Cleary. Sorry, yeah. And then if he goes bad, then you just put the captaincy on KK. Yeah.
Again, very good week to go high risk on the VC option with the 13 best players getting picked. Well, I guess we more look at potential VC options then. If Keon for Jake and I is a pretty much a must-have. I've got currently VC for Turbo, but you could also look at guys like Tedesco. Asako could be a smoky VC option. Yeah, they're some of the guys really standing out for me in my particular team. Jake, who are you thinking about besides Keon?
So in terms of a VC, I'm currently on Drinkwater with, Pappy in my flex position, easy captain this week. Obviously, there's plenty of different options that loop. But, to quickly roll through them, Garrick, Sharp, Lucas, Olakawatu, all earlier games, all another great set of vice captains. We know Lucas and Sharp back at fullback. He's been doing really well. Lucas, huge potential. Olakawatu, Garrick up against the Titans. My one's currently on Drinkwater. But I'm really torn on what is the right vice option this week. So definitely a lot of options.
Yeah, Chris, thoughts, mate? What are you thinking about?
Yeah, my VC at the moment is Turbo as well. Yeah, but I I also thought about Teddy, but he's just absolutely depleted. A depleted Rooster side. Like, I don't know. Can they do it again like they did against the Sharks? I don't know. And then obviously like Jakey, Drinky, Saturday night, Q bus dry. You just know there's gonna be points. Yeah, he's gonna score 14 again. I'm just excited.
Now I've got a question regarding the Knights, boys, and we both have do we all have Dylan Lucas and Fletcher Sharp?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so this is going to be a good question. Now, Jackson's Hastings has been named in the halves. Do we think that potentially unlocks a guy like Fletcher Sharp or not? What do you think, Jake?
Look, I just think Sharp being in the fullback role is going, like, just pure super coach wise, is going to score pretty well for us. He's been in good form. I think it's the best position for him is fullback as well, just the way he plays. So, yeah, look, we haven't seen Hastings really play at all. So, no idea what Cogger and Hastings are going to pull out. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know if it's going to be a good thing, a bad thing yet. But yeah, obviously with Ponga going to Origin, there obviously needs to be a shake-up in their team. And I think Tyson Gamble's got an injury, so that's obviously forced their hand to bring in Hastings. Because, yeah, I think he's maybe played one other game this year for the Knights, and I can have no memory of it, of how it all went. So, yeah, I really haven't got too much commentary on it. Sorry.
What are your thoughts, Chris?
Oh, I initially thought, like, if you're asking whether we were buying the People's Six, the People's Champion, Jackson Hastings. Look, honestly, it's like Jake said, I can't even remember what he was. It's been so long ago since I watched him play. Like, I don't know. I can't even remember if he dummies only or if the criticism was he doesn't square up enough and he just runs across the line and cuts off the fullback. I think that's what it actually was. I think he doesn't run square, and I think he just runs across a little bit like Nico does a little bit. But Hastings will do Hastings things. Yeah, I just no idea. Just gotta watch.
This is first game of the season actually. So
yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's his first. Okay.
554K if anyone wants to
So cheap. We should buy him.
Absolute god. That's so funny. But yeah, so any more thoughts on captaincies or vice captaincies, boys? I'm pretty set on mine.
Yeah, looking at my team, I feel like, yeah, I really like the idea of Kaloamatangi. Yeah, just at home. I know they're up against first place Dogs, but yeah, just with a few of their stars missing, it's a good opportunity. Jai Gray comes in to replace Latrell as well, and I feel like Jai Gray does a great job in that one jersey. So yeah, I definitely like that. But yeah, once again, it's there's definitely a lot of options. If you have Turbo or Teddy, as you two boys were mentioning, they're great options as well. But probably more on the vice captain, I'd say. Kaloamatangi's just been so safe recently. He's a great option for captain.
Yeah, no, I don't have any much more to say really. Oh, other than Nico on Thursday night. Yeah. Just straight CM. 128 average against Dragons in disarray. Yeah. I should also quickly talk about my trades. I know you guys talked about your trades. I am selling Cleary for Nico Hines, Toya for Asako. I just got a good feeling. And then I'm going to be selling Paffy to Teddy is what I'm going to be doing. Yeah.
Wild. Jake, quickly over yours, mate.
Yeah. Tamale to Garrick, Iro to Asako, and Gutho to Drinkwater.
Yeah, love that. I've gone Carol Iro to Herbie Farmworth and Tamale to Asako. And who knows, might do a spicy last minute pick with that 270K in the bank. The money man is back. So, boys, it's been an absolute pleasure on the Fantasy Files. Been ripping in. Such good insight as always. Origin chat's always good to have. And again, Queenslander in shambles. I don't know what Billy Slater's doing, but in Billy, we trust as us loyal Queenslanders do. But yeah, Chris, I think you're going to be pretty safe in Wednesday week. So, but obviously on the Fantasy Files, we'll talk about that next week in detail. But boys, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. The listeners, you guys, if you have any questions regarding their teams or shit takes, again, comment on any on the social media platforms. I'm doing a pretty good job getting across all our means. But again, if you are listening audio version, the 5-star rating goes a long way in improving the algorithm. If you're on YouTube, again, liking, sharing, commenting also helps us as well. And obviously our short form videos via Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. I think I covered everything there. Done a good job. But yeah, if you guys can, again, like, share, comment, you know the drill. But again, really helps us out. Chris, we love you. Jake, you actually haven't been a full potato yet, but we'll see what happens with the upload. Any
You
last
jinxed
words,
it, mate.
boys?
Happy super coaching everybody this week.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Appreciate tonight, and yeah, all the best. Spud out.
Thanks, listeners. See ya.